Inman Square sits right on the heart of the Cambridge-Somerville border. I love this area, and there are many great reasons to live here. Let's dive into why. But first, subscribe if you're moving to Boston for moving tips and to learn more about places you might want to live. So Inman Square is awesome because it just has a ton going on. The Druid is one of the most popular Irish bars in the Boston area, and Shebeen is in the same tier. 1369 Coffee House is incredibly popular and always busy, but they have great coffee. I can confirm I actually had it this morning. All-Star Pizza Bar sits catty-corner to All-Star Sandwich Bar, and both are, as their names imply, all-stars. If you want to eat at a spot that's been in the area for a long time, check out S&S Restaurant for an old school diner feel. Trina's Starlight Lounge is a blast, and frankly, I respect the fact that their actual business sign is smaller than the Miller High Life sign that sits out front. What's crazy is that these are only a few of the food and drink options in Inman Square. It's just a fun spot to explore. The neighborhood is also just vibrant. Like, all of these establishments have their own style and aren't afraid to display that in their decor, both in and outside their establishment. It's a fun, eclectic mix that you just don't get everywhere in the Boston area. Inman Square is also very tight-knit. The local businesses look out for one another. I think this sense of community carries over to the residents as well. Everyone who lives and works here is proud to be here, and you can clearly sense that when out and about. In terms of cultural attractions, Inman Square is close to everything that Cambridge has to offer, so you can explore things like the Harvard Art Museum. There's also a lot of festivals and events throughout the year, so this just gives you even more things to do within walking distance. Sort of a pro and a con, it's subjective based on how much you do or don't like to walk, is Inman Square's access to the T. With the extension of the Green Line to Union Square, Inman Square now offers relatively easy access to both the Red and the Green Line. Now, it is a bit of a walk to both, right around half a mile, plus or minus a bit depending on where in Inman Square you live. But as someone who grew up in a city with no public transit, I view having two T-stops this relatively close by to be a massive selling point and a massive advantage of a neighborhood. Others might prefer to live right at a T-stop, and that's understandable. Like most of Cambridge, Inman Square has a high cost of living. Since you're not right at a T-stop, I do think that you can find some places that are a bit cheaper than other parts of the city, but it still tends to be a pricey place to live, so be sure to budget if you're planning to live here. I've heard that Inman Square can get to be noisy depending on the time of day and events occurring there. This makes sense given all the places I mentioned earlier, and I think it's really only a big issue if you live close to the center of the square. Traffic in and around Inman Square can get pretty backed up. I think there could be more folks who want to own a car in this area since it's not right on a T-stop. I would recommend trying to avoid having a car while living here, but if you do choose to keep a car, just be prepared to sit in traffic. And please just be a patient driver and not a masshole. The final con of Inman Square is that it doesn't really offer direct access to green spaces. Green spaces aren't unreasonably far, but it's not like some other neighborhoods in Boston, like those that sit on the Emerald Necklace, that are built right on green spaces. So keep this in mind if you value having parks close to where you live. In terms of the average rents in Inman Square, a studio will cost you about $2,200 per month. A one-bedroom apartment will cost you about the same as a studio, about $2,250 at the time of publishing this video. A two-bedroom apartment will cost you $3,400 per month, and a three-bedroom apartment will cost you just under $4,000 per month. Keep in mind that these are averages for the whole neighborhood. The exact amount of rent really does vary based on where in Inman Square you're located and what type of housing options are of interest to you. Also, rent prices in the Boston area can vary wildly based on factors such as time of year, so be sure to do your own research as you time your move. Lastly, I want to note that Inman Square is not an official neighborhood of Cambridge. Rather, it's an ambiguous area where many local businesses and establishments interact. If you say you want to live in Inman Square, though, people will know what you're talking about. Also, really random, in a past job, I used to be a mover, so I know what moving supplies you need if you are moving. I've linked some recommended moving supplies in the description. So this concludes my brief overview of Inman Square. Please let me know in the comments if I missed any important aspects of living in this area. Please like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to see similar videos.